Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program virtual launch ceremony. Thank you so much for joining us. We are just going to ask that each person be muted, right? Or please do not remove the mute from your microphones unless you are presenting, just to maintain the order. Thank you. We're going to begin the event. I'm going to ask Charlene McLaughlin to open for us in prayer.
Good morning, everybody. Let us pray. Go ahead and feel what it is that you do to your friend. It's comfortable. All right, let's pray. Father, we want to give you thanks for today. This is a new day that you have made. We just want to give you thanks for Lanistel, the founder of YWOP, who is the brainchild of many programs for young people or people in general of the nation. And so, Father, we give you thanks for the partners of the initiative that we're launching this morning, the USMC, USAID, entrepreneurs across borders. We give you thanks for them, Father. And we pray, oh God, that each participant that have the opportunity to be a part of this program will see it not as something to take for granted, but to be really appreciative of this opportunity. They are chosen and therefore, so that they're here for the purpose, their purpose will be fulfilled and that you will be glorified. We pray that this launch will be according to your will and your purpose, and that everything that will be done to your honor and to your glory. And that, Father, as we progress into the duration of the program, that everything will run smoothly. Yes, we're going to have glitches, but then give us the fortitude, give us the wisdom, give us the courage and strength to go on. Persons might feel like giving up in the middle, in the beginning, towards the end. Oh, Father, we pray for your strength and your wisdom. We pray for your grace and your mercy. Father, we pray that you'll just take control of this entire proceeding and that we'll have no internet interference, just mitigate all of those things that can cause a damper on this launch, Father. Just place it to you now into your hands, and we thank in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Right. Thank you, Charlene. Welcome again, everyone, to our R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program virtual launch ceremony. This is a first for us in terms of a virtual launch for one of our programs, but we are very grateful that even though we are facing the COVID-19 pandemic globally, it has still not dampened or stopped us from doing good and doing the work that we do here at Young Women and Men of Purpose, along with our partners and of course our funders. Now, this morning, I just want to highlight some, well, we are all very special here today, but I really want to highlight some persons who have played a significant role in making this program possible. Now, with us today, we have our funders and representatives from the Embassy of the United States of Jamaica. We have with us Mr. Robert Adelson, who is the PAO from the Embassy. We also have Ms. I hope I'm getting it right, Carisi Slumka, the Public Diplomacy Officer, Ms. Bernadette Hutchinson, the Cultural Affairs Specialist, as well as Ms. Shazan McBean, Cultural Affairs Assistant. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for accepting our proposal for the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program. Thank you for funding it and making it possible. We also have with us in the room our representatives, the co-founders, CEO, and presidents of Entrepreneurs Across Borders. We have Martin Babinek, and we also have Kevin Langley from Entrepreneurs Across Borders. And you're going to be hearing from both of them later on, as Martin is one of our speakers, and Kevin will also be sharing briefly about the work that Entrepreneurs Across Borders do. We have two other speakers in the room with us today. We have Mr. Keith Callisto, who is a venture capitalist and also a director of the Sandals Foundation. And we also have Agri-Tech entrepreneur Matthew Ruda, who you will be hearing from later. He is the CEO of Swine Technologies. We do have some special partners with us in the room. We have representatives from JBDC, one of our facilitators for the program. We also have one of our colleagues, Dr. Hazel O'Connell from the Morrison Entrepreneurship Center, who is joining us. We have Representative Michelle Heaven from Farm Linker, and you will be hearing from her throughout the program. And I believe we also do have a representative from the Jamaica Agricultural Society. And we have other facilitators who will be sharing their expertise and skills throughout the program. Even though the program would not have been possible without the funding from the US Embassy and also the hard work of our partner organizations, if we did not have you as our participants, then there would be no R.E.A.P Agri-Tech. So we could have had a very great program on paper that we want to launch, but if the participants, you did not apply for the program, if you did not participate in the interview, and if you did not accept our offer, then this would not be possible. So thank you so much to all the participants for accepting. Thank you for sending us your applications, and we're actually looking forward to working with you over the next 6 months. Lastly, I just want to highlight the team here at Young Women and Men of Purpose, and specifically the project team for the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program. We have been working very hard over the last couple of months, in fact, from last year when the program was developed, and we had to make tweaks and changes because of the global pandemic. And here we are today because of the hard work that the team has put in. So thank you so much to all the team members who have worked hard, who put in the work to be here. We really appreciate, or I really appreciate your support and what you have done. Most of you may not have heard of Young Women and Men of Purpose before now. You may not have known anything about the organization. And so at this time, our president, Mrs. Terry-Ann Clahar-Anti, will give you a brief overview of the organization, who we are, and what we do.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Terry.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. All right, so I think I'm connected twice. I'm connected as Terry-Ann, and I'm also connected as Clahar Strategies and Consultancy. I'm not sure what's happening here, but I'll continue. Good morning, everyone. All right.
Good morning.
So I'll be giving a short overview of our organization. As the president of Young Men and Women of Purpose, it gives me great pleasure to do the overview of our organization today. The Young Women and Men of Purpose is a registered NGO that provides career mentorship and guidance, personal development training, entrepreneurship training, and support to young women and men between the ages of 13 to 32 years through our mentorship program. We assist young women and men to explore their true identity, life purpose, and career path, and provide a step-by-step guidance to help them achieve their career goal through education and later to gain employment to break the barrier of continuous poverty. In addition to our monthly mentoring sessions, our mentee participate in career and self-development sessions. They also receive a one-on-one monitoring from professionals on a regular basis. Since our establishment in 2009, our organization have received grant funding and donations of approximately $250,000 US, executes several community projects, such as the UN Habitat Youth Fund for Youth Entrepreneurship Project, which trained approximately 50 youths in entrepreneurship in the parish of Manchester and provided seed funding of $500 US to the top 14 businesses to develop their products and services. The Commonwealth Youth Council, CUSAS International grants implement the first phase of our R.E.A.P program. Canada Fund for Local Initiatives awarded us grants to implement R.E.A.P Capacity Development Program, and for the second consecutive time, being the first organization to do so. The initiative also provided fund for our youth entrepreneurship in the third phase, which provide entrepreneurship training, support, development, coaching, monitoring, and seed funding of 20 youths, young women in central Jamaica to start or further their business. We also receive funding for our annual treat, Christmas treat for children with special needs, and our annual back to school treat. We are blessed to have experienced professionals as our volunteers who are passionate about contributing to the development of their communities and their country. Our volunteers actively contribute to the growth and development of our young people by conducting various self-esteem and self-development workshops in several primary, high, and technical schools island-wide. To date, over 7,000 students have been engaged in our school outreach program. The organization has embarked on expanding our services offering to our online career development platform, which is our social enterprise called Link Your Purpose. It is poised to become one of the first sustainable youth-led NGOs in Jamaica. Based on our impeccable track record of creating impact, the organization received NGO of the Year Award in 2018 from the Center of Volunteer Social Services. And our founder, Lenicia Roden, received the opportunity to travel to Dubai for Live Global Innovator Grants and was awarded $100,000 to further develop our social enterprise organization, Link Your Purpose. As we launch our R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program in partnership with entrepreneurs across borders, we want to show you that we are going somewhere as an organization. We're proud to be partnering with several other organizations locally as well. The organization is shown to be a promising one, and also we are expanding our service offering soon. So let us unite together. Let us build the Jamaica that we want to live, work, raise our families, and do business. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I'll give you a brief overview of the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program. The R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program is an initiative of young women and men of purpose and made possible with the support of the Embassy of the United States of America and international partner entrepreneurs across borders, and will provide training and support to entrepreneurs and innovators in the agricultural industry in Jamaica. The main objective of the program is to transform agriculture in Jamaica by equipping young entrepreneurs who are in the agricultural field to develop and use technology and technological practices to improve current farming practices, to ensure that they incorporate supply chain management, promote food security, and are resilient to natural disasters and global pandemics. Additionally, the program will focus on strategies that will reduce wastage, increase profits, enable economic empowerment, improve the local economy, provide financial stability, and improve access to and affordability of food for persons, especially those in the rural communities. The program will provide online training, coaching, mentoring, and access to seed funding for 20, well now 30 young entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector, and will be facilitated by various local and international entrepreneurs, business coaches, and mentors in agriculture and technology. Our training actually begins in November for the participants of the program. We initially set out to train and accept 20 participants in the program. We had over 100 applications for the program, and we were able to shortlist 30 candidates. We were so impressed. The project team was so impressed with the interviews, and we did not want to leave anyone behind. And so with the support of entrepreneurs across borders, instead of selecting only 20 participants for the program, we have actually decided to select all 30 who will actually be a part of the program over the next 6 months. We have been connected again through our partner R.E.A.P with various international coaches and mentors who are experts in the field of agri-technology and entrepreneurship. And we've also been connected with entrepreneurs and experts locally who will all provide mentoring, coaching, and training to the participants of the program. So once again, welcome to the program, participants, and to our sponsors, our partners, our stakeholders. Thank you so much for the support and the contribution. At this time, we're going to hear from our funder for the program. We invite Mr. Robert Adelson to offer greeting on behalf of the United States of America's Embassy.
Hello and thank you. Good morning to everybody. My name is Bobby Adelson. I'm the new Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy here in Kingston, Jamaica. I've only been out of quarantine for a few weeks now, but it's a blessing and a privilege to speak with you all today. First, I want to thank the organizers of this launch, the members of Young Women and Men of Purpose, and its U.S. and Jamaica partners, entrepreneurs across borders, and Link Your Purpose. Again, also thank you for the overview of your programs before this. Special thanks to our speakers, Martin, Matthew, Keith, and then Kevin as well. And thank you to everybody who took time out of your day today to hear a little bit more about this program, and to all the participants. Huge congratulations, of course, goes to the Young Women and Men of Purpose on being one of the 14 winners of the 2019-2020 Public Diplomacy Small Grants Program. This is a win for us, and this collaboration demonstrates the U.S. Embassy's continued support of Jamaica and its Jamaican citizens. This comes through strategic partnerships like this one. This helps engender a more secure and prosperous economy, increases mutual understanding between our two countries, and of course, builds on the strong bilateral relationship that already exists. And, again, we hope to continue that relationship and build on that friendship that has fomented for so long. The Embassy looks forward to the great results with the support of this grant award. As you seek to tackle the urgent challenges in the agri industry, we encourage each of you to find your purpose as young men and as young women, and to use these new skills you'll get in this program. I've been with the State Department 11 years, and I can say that some of the most fun things that we get to do is to work with young people, and we're very, very proud of you all. We're extraordinarily happy, hearing the news that we were able to get 30 entrepreneurs instead of the previous number. That's really, really great news. And again, congrats to you all. I'm very, very proud. I'm going to be here 3 years. Hopefully, and this COVID ends soon and quickly. I really am looking forward to meeting everybody. I hope I can meet as many of you as possible. I want to apologize in advance. I actually have to depart the Zoom call early, but on behalf of the Embassy, again, thank you, congrats. I see it's a sunny day outside, finally, for the first time in a while here in Kingston. And again, good luck, and hope I can see you all in person soon. Thank you.
And thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And we do hope that we will be able to see each other face to face for the program ends. And from Kevin Lang from across board.
Thank you, Lanicia. And I also want to thank Robert and the other Embassy people that are on the call today. I think that you guys have one of the best jobs in the world. And the reason why I say that is because I've spent a little bit of time traveling for the State Department as a GEP delegate to various countries in North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. And I really commend the work you're doing. It's in many cases, it's very challenging, but you happen to be in one of the best countries in the world doing your job in Jamaica. So congratulations for getting this post here for the next 3 years, because Lanice and I spent a lot of time last week with every single one of the people that's on the call today. And I'm just super impressed with everybody. And we figured out a way of increasing the numbers to help amplify what you guys are already doing. So I just wanted to start with that and very briefly tell you just 1 or 2 sentences, but I want to show you what Entrepreneurs Across Borders actually does. The statement that we say is EAB identifies, curates, and connects high potential entrepreneurs in developing countries with resources they need to grow. And this program is a bright, shiny example of what we do. I met Lanicia several years ago. I attended a World Bank event in Montego Bay at the request of Martin. And we met some other people in Jamaica, and she appeared, and we did Lanicia pitch for Slush, which is a European competition. And she was one of the winners with this nonprofit. And to see the nonprofit and her grow and her team grow is really special. And we hope to really continue that relationship, Lanicia, especially with all the people on the call. So that's what EAB does, is we identify spectacular people that need help, and we help them by surrounding them with resources. And Martin and I have this shared vision with this nonprofit. And I was very fortunate to meet Martin years and years ago. We've talked about doing this and helping out. He's a wonderful person, and I want to do a brief introduction to him. What most people know Martin as is a Silicon Valley entrepreneur that started this very good company in 1988. He served as the chairman for 20 some odd years and grew it to a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded New York Stock Exchange listed company. And that's what most people see Martin as. Martin is way more than that. And he also moved his family back to Little Falls, New York. He's the son of a factory worker, and he grew a multi-billion-dollar company and is still committed to his very small, Robert, you said it right. You said, where's Little Falls? Little Falls is 4,500, population town in upstate New York, and he's super committed to helping Little Falls and other small towns compete and grow in the U.S. and globally. He's started Start Fast Ventures, which is a seed fund, Up Ventures Capital that helps provide capital to early stage tech companies. He also has a family foundation, Up Mobility, which supports a lot of efforts in Jamaica. We have his daughter, Andrea, and his wife on the call with us today. They've spent a lot of time in Jamaica over the last 10 or 15 years. And I would say that they're almost Jamaican because their hearts are with Jamaica and really, truly want to help out. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted Martin to share his story with you today. But Martin, I have to add a couple more things to your bio. Not only are you the co-founder of Entrepreneurs Across Borders, but as of last week, I can now say that you are a best-selling author of a very important book that's very relevant in these COVID times. And that is the book called More Good Jobs. And that's an action plan for people to help create change in their communities. And like I told everybody on the phone earlier, I should say last week when we were interviewing you, this is not just an ag tech program. We really want to build a relationship with you guys and build community so we can all grow together. And that's what this effort is about. So with that, I would love for Martin to share his short story. You're going to hear more from Martin later on in the program. But Martin, if you wouldn't mind.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that introduction. And it's always a pleasure to try to help keep advancing the journey that we're on in Jamaica. And yes, I'm a guy that's very lucky that I happen to be starting my first company in the most entrepreneur supporting place on the planet. So when I began that journey 32 years ago, I had no idea about how important the community is in being able to help entrepreneurs be successful. And it wasn't until I really moved back to my hometown of Little Falls, which you'll see profiled there. That's the Mohawk River and Erie Canal behind me. And I commuted for 10 years between Little Falls and Silicon Valley while still building the company. And over the course of my spending time in the Mohawk Valley and Silicon Valley and comparing those two, I really thought a lot about how important it is to have a community support the entrepreneur. And that's the genesis behind our starting Entrepreneurs Across Borders with Kevin a couple years ago. But that journey really began when I started also spending time in Jamaica. In fact, since 2004, I've been in Jamaica every year, at least once, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year since 2004. And 2020 was the first time I have not been to Jamaica in a year. And I regret not being able to get there because of COVID, but looking forward to getting back. So there's a lot of reasons why Jamaica is the right place for us to pilot Entrepreneurs Across Borders. And I'll look forward to later in the remarks here, sharing a little bit about, hey, what do we do at Entrepreneurs Across Border that's going to help this program? So I believe that's the second piece of what you'll want me to speak on. We believe a lot in what Lanisha is doing and appreciate what the embassy has done to kick this program off as a key benchmark for us to now look at how we can help entrepreneurs get connected to the resources they need and help them be successful. Thanks, Kevin.
The other thing that I wanted to do is, Martin, do you have any other comments you want to share, or you want to go into more of your story?
Well, again, if you want me to do that now, I'm happy to do that. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that now.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me suggest that a key piece of my story is also about the journey that I've been on, as Kevin mentioned, in upstate New York. When I began this process of trying to help entrepreneurs, it started with building a nonprofit in upstate New York called Upstate Venture Connect. That's been a 10-year journey now. And what I've done over the course of the 10 years in building up a network today that numbers around 16,000 people. So when we started, it was just an idea. And now it has developed to really expand to 7 different metro areas spread out over the entirety of upstate New York, a landmass which is 3 times the size of Jamaica, all right? And population, which is about 10 times the size of Jamaica. And so we have a lot of challenges to stitch together resources across a broadly dispersed geography and a really broadly dispersed population. And we've been able to do that and actually move the needle in helping entrepreneurs get connected to the resources that they need to start and grow companies. So I've been taking those lessons and now have profiled them in the book, More Good Jobs, and continued nurturing the relationships on the ground in Jamaica over that entire period with those not only annual visits, sometimes more frequently, but constant contact with different people in Jamaica, entrepreneurs, investors, people that are in nonprofits, economic development organizations. These are relationships that Kevin and I have been working on for many years, all with the goal of helping entrepreneurs get connected to resources, and now to be in the situation where we can work with Lanisha and the embassy and helping to bring more resources into play. We're very excited about it. What I can suggest for the participating entrepreneurs that are here is think about the very basic lessons that we all know exist around, you're going to get out of this program exactly what you put into it. You put a lot of energy into taking advantage of what Lanisha and the embassy and Entrepreneurs Across Borders, what we can all make available to you. You as the entrepreneur are the ones that have to decide how you want to take advantage of that. Concentrating not just on your customers and your prospective customers, because we all know as entrepreneurs, you can't have a successful business unless you first listen to the customer and change what you're doing so that it meets the needs of the customer. No business is successful based only on the initial idea of the product or service. Businesses that are successful are because they have changed their direction by listening to their customer. It's our goal to help you learn how to do that. But you'll also have to concentrate on meeting more people that want to help you. My experience in upstate New York and what we're trying to do in Jamaica is that there are lots of people that want to help emerging entrepreneurs. They want to help, but yet their trouble is they don't know how to get connected to the right entrepreneurs that need the help. And when those high value people who might be entrepreneurs, they could be investors, they might know someone who needs your product or service. They're out there in Jamaica, they're in the US, and they want to help Jamaican entrepreneurs. And the stumbling block comes when it's too hard for them to get connected to you in a way that's time efficient. So we're going to help introduce some ideas on how you might address that. And I'll give you some hints. You could even find some tips right out of my book, More Good Jobs. You can get a Kindle version for $10, but you can start with joining our community, moregoodjobs.org, and request a free chapter. And we'll send you some tips right out of the book that'll help you think about, how can I give first? And by giving first, meaning you, the entrepreneur, giving something of value to the people that you might go out and try to develop a relationship with, it can make all the difference in the world in your developing a relationship with people that can help you and not worrying about, am I going to get something back in return? Do that enough, I guarantee you'll develop a lot of relationships with people that can make a huge difference. And that will include being out there and meeting people in what we call the creative collision. One of our speakers coming up soon is Keith Collister, and this is going to be a great example. Why is Keith Collister, who has, as you'll hear, a number of different roles in which he helps entrepreneurs, he helps people who are connected to the Sandals Foundation, which in turn helps those with great needs, and is very active in the publishing world. He's a very important guy in Jamaica. And yet now he's participating in this program. And it all came about because Kevin and I happened to have a creative collision running into him in Jamaica while we were attending a conference that he also attended. So how you go about extending your network and making sure you're in the right place where the right people may be attending and can meet them in person is an important thing. Emerging entrepreneurs need to get out there and take advantage of. And we'll hope to introduce you not only to some of the avenues of where are the right places to be and how do you go about the approach, but also to encourage you to do it. Because the people that are going to help you aren't necessarily going to find you on social media. They're not looking for you. It's up to you as the entrepreneur to be out there looking for them and making it easy to make the connection and easy for them to see that you've got something to offer that will make a difference in wanting them to help you, which is what I mean by giving first. So thank you for the time for this introduction. And I really am excited about the program, excited about what Lanisha and the rest of the team are doing to put it together and for the support of the U.S. Embassy and getting it off the ground.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate all the efforts you've put into over the many, many, many years in Jamaica. And we're going to expand on that in the future, especially with Up Mobility Foundation. But Martin, one of the things that I respect about you the most, since you've got your family on the call too, is, and for every young entrepreneur and entrepreneur growing a business, is that the role of him as a husband and father is paramount. He's a spectacular guy and well-balanced, probably the most well-balanced person I've ever met. And that's important as we grow our businesses, because I know a lot of you have families. Some of you have small kids, and it's not always about just business. It's about other stuff. Matthew Rhoda is our next speaker. I met Matthew Rhoda at the Coffin Foundation during one of our pitch competitions. And he's an ag tech entrepreneur from the heartland of the U.S. and it is, if you ask me, sort of the face of ag tech entrepreneur in the U.S. I'll give you his short bio, but I've asked him to share a little bit of his story and a little bit of his challenges. And I wanted for him to also share a portion of his pitch, because he stood up against a lot of other technology entrepreneurs in Kansas City at the Kauffman Foundation, and he won the competition because he's such a really good presenter and a spectacular guy. He graduated from the University of Iowa. He's a MBA candidate at Johns Hopkins University. He founded Swine Tech in 2015. He'll explain what Swine Tech is about. He's raised over $6 million in venture capital. He's won Microsoft's, MIT, Princeton's, and National Inventors Hall of Fame, and was named the American Farm Bureau Entrepreneur of the Year. So we have one of the U.S. best ag tech entrepreneurs on the call with you today. He's a very good guy and a very close personal friend. As Martin was talking, he texted me. He said, "Kevin, I can't believe how far we've gotten." And I want him to share his really quick story and pitch. Matthew?
Thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate it. It's crazy how fast time flies. Not but 4 years ago, you and I had met, and now I'm blessed to have this opportunity to talk to everybody on this call. I'm really excited about this. My story more or less began as a 4th generation pork producer. My family members before me, all the way back to my great-great-grandfather, farmed pigs, cows, sheep, the whole gambit. And then eventually, as my dad did it, it became more of a specialized thing where you had 8,000 mothers and 100,000 piglets. So I grew up in that world, was planning on going to be a doctor, to be an obstetrician, kind of stepping away. But life brought me back. I had a medical advisor from the University of Iowa who said, "You know what, you need to try something different." And I asked him if managing a team and doing C-sections and giving medications on a pig farm was different, and they thought it was. So I took on that opportunity and quickly learned that the perspective that you have managing an environment and putting yourselves in that world is much different than growing up in it. Growing up in it, I kind of handled the loose ends, but when managing it, I started running into pain points that were real problems. And some of those problems were that little baby pigs, after they were born, would get rolled on and smothered by their mothers. And I would walk into work every morning and find just buckets of dead pigs that I had to come gather and bring out. And it was no fault of the mother herself. It's just piglets wanting to eat. The mother was laying down and they got caught. So I really wanted to find a solution for this because it was becoming really annoying. It's not a fun process. There was so many lives that could be used for better purposes. And so I worked with a friend of mine at the University of Iowa, took advantage of some of the resources they had where they were trying to connect entrepreneurs and give them resources of people and funds. We won $3,000 and we just started to iterate, started to come up with new prototypes. And one thing that was apparent to us was that in the farm, when I walked through, I could learn after a few weeks that was a mother laying on a piglet. That was a piglet yelling for help. And so we thought, what if we used voice recognition? And we started looking into that and realized, yes, there are distinguishable characteristics between pigs fighting for food and pigs getting crushed by their mothers. And so we worked with a local engineer from an aerospace company to develop an algorithm that could allow us to hear those baby pigs, distinguish and understand that they're dying, identify where they're located, and then we developed a wearable device that alerted the mom to sit up and save that pig's life. So that was kind of how we got into having a company and serving the swine industry. And I think it's important to use the word serving there. Is the big reason why I think we've been successful is that our everyday is designed around serving our industry and listening to those within it to understand how we can play a bigger part in accomplishing that. It started with just a product. I thought it was about the product. It's about serving the industry. And that's what's allowed us to kind of stand the test of time, even through rough situations like COVID.
It's an inspiring story, Matt. I am truly inspired.
Thanks. It's been an interesting road. I think the individuals that had the biggest impact on our success have been I guess I'll back up. The experiences that we allowed ourselves, I guess, to engage in, whether that was an accelerator through a university during our first few months, or EO and those pitch competitions, but not just that, the events that were a part of that, all the way through an accelerator in Dublin, Ireland. When you have opportunities like Entrepreneurs Across Borders and the process that you guys are all a part of right now, and you fully embrace it and make the most of it, it will be life-changing. And we don't know how it's going to be life-changing, but it will make an impact. And I think having that full commitment is so important. And it's hard to be fully committed in absolutely everything you do, but these moments are special. I think you make the most of it.
Thank you, Matthew, for your time. And I'm going to turn it back over to Lenicia. Lenicia, do you want to?
Okay, thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you for taking time to be here to share your story, a very interesting story. And so many young people usually move forward or want to go into the traditional careers, but then are always, led back to their passion, and that stands out for us because that is something that we promote here at Young Women and Men of Purpose and Link Your Purpose, helping young people to identify their passions and converting those into meaningful career. And basically, I heard that coming out of your story. All right, so at this point, we're going to show you a quick slide presentation to introduce the participants of the program. And right after that, we're going to be introducing Mr. Keith Collister, who is going to share with us before we wind down. So there you have it, the participants of the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program. As I mentioned before, we are so impressed with the participants, and we are looking forward to having them participate in the program We're looking forward to learning more about their business. They are from a very diverse background, and we are grateful that so many of them expressed and shared their interest in the program. And I'm sure that they will benefit from the program, and we will also benefit from the services that they have to offer. Keith Callista is the executive chairman of the Appliance Traders Group Pension Scheme, which represents Sandals group of companies in Jamaica, for which he has governance, management, and investment responsibilities. As director for special projects in the Finance and Planning Division at Sandals Resorts International, he also analyzes the global economy and local economy policy issues for the group. He chairs the Sandals Foundation and is a financial columnist for the Jamaica Observer. Mr. Callista is a member of the Jamaica Venture Capital Program, Oversight Committee of the DBJ, that's the Development Bank of Jamaica, and a founder director of the Caribbean Alternative Investment Association, launched last year, as well as a director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange listed non-bank financing company, R.E.A.P Limited, which is part of the Muson Group, and a director of its related mezzanine private equity fund. Mr. Callista also serves as fourth vice president of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, as well as chairing their Economic Affairs and Taxation Committee for the past decade. He's the longest serving member of the private sector organization of Jamaica Economic Policy Committee, having served continuously for the past 20 years. Mr. Callista holds an MA in economics from Cambridge University, a diploma in accounting and finance from the London School of Economics, and an MBA in international banking and finance from Birmingham Business School. Welcome, Keith Callista. We are looking forward to hearing your story, to hearing you share about what you do, and also how your collaboration will help the participants of this R.E.A.P Agri-Tech Entrepreneurship Program.
Thank you very much. Hello, Martin. Hello, Kevin, and hello to all the participants here. It's very impressive. I think you need to circulate that slide of the 20 entrepreneurs. That would be I'm going to see who we can get that to as a starting point. I think we should focus on them. I think you gave me 10 minutes, so I'll try and be as efficient as possible. First of all, I think starting with Martin's point about networking and our accidental meeting, I think networking during the time of COVID is a very interesting. How do we do it in the new times? I think part of that is, well, let's start with the private sector associations that currently exist, of which there are quite a number. PSOJ, and it's important to remember that they do different things. So, and they will have different interests. But I think they're a good starting point for a lot of entrepreneurs to sort of at least you have an instant network there. And if you can reach the right people, and you're not going to find necessarily the right person the first conversation you have. The question is whether you have the credibility, whether they think that you are, you know what you're talking about, that they they are interested in what people like. It's kind of how to win friends and influence people. People are interested in what interests them. So if you are able to find that area of common interest, the people who are for example, interested in agriculture, in this case, and entrepreneurship. So clearly you need to find people who have those two interests, and that's a good starting point. So if we think about where we would start, then it kind of depends on sandals, for example. We'll be buying not. I mean, we're not a good example right this minute, but last year or the previous years, we were buying several $1 billion worth of agricultural products. One of the things that we are having a conversation with at the DBJ currently, which probably I'll say it, I guess, because it's still a preliminary conversation, the whole issue of reverse factoring. In other words, if you sell something to Sandals and you have a receivable from them, can you then go along to find a financial institution, which could be, for example, the pension fund I run, maybe, and say, we're willing to, because it's a good credit, we're willing to give you the cash now and without charging you too much money. If you can find a Muslim group who buy a lot of agricultural products as well, if you can get them involved, if you can get some other people involved locally, Grace Kennedy and those people, well, they're all members of the, latter two are all members of the Chamber of Commerce. So, this is the power of the network. And what I would say as well is that for the first time, and I think it's unfortunate COVID hit exactly as it did, well, for a variety of reasons, but I think Jamaica had just been moving. In February of this year, I would say I've never seen a capital market that was as active. I had never seen the enthusiasm that people had for, projects, things they were willing to finance. I had never seen, you'd never seen the number of IPOs. You'd never seen the size of IPOs raised in 100 million US, these type of numbers. And we just never seen that before. Jamaica was positioning itself as kind of a mini Wall Street for the Caribbean. Now COVID came, and of course we are directly affected like the rest of the world, but of course we're a tourism dependent economy. So that means we're more affected than some people who are less tourism dependent. Nevertheless, COVID will end. So we need to start planning for the future. And in fact, one of the interesting things you saw, I think, is there was some redirection we realized a lot of stuff was sold, more stuff than a lot of people thought was sold to the tourism sector, because Jamaica never ran out of food. We always actually had plenty of food in terms of, supermarkets and so on. And that was a concern. Everyone was panic buying at the beginning. But now, of course, there was a push for people to eat local. So you had farmers markets and so on being arranged by MPs and so on. But what we need to do is go beyond what I would call these short-term responses to longer-term responses, which would mean that I think we need to listen to you guys as entrepreneurs and find your pain points, but you also have to be able to market yourself. Agriculture has had not the greatest experience in Jamaica for a while. I think it has potential, but I think it has to be linked to technology and technological solutions. And of course, the US has all the technology, agricultural technology we want. So the answer is, how do we get that technology out of the United States to Jamaican entrepreneurs? Well, clearly that knowledge and innovation, clearly some of that needs to be financed. So the question then is, how do we get some local entrepreneurs to get them financed? Well, I think the first stop is the DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica. But you also, you don't just think that because you turn up at the DBJ, you're going to need quite a few things. And I think if you can find, I would say, even as the same time you're trying to go to the DBJ to see if they can find some financing for you, need to go out and find yourself some customers. So there's a good example of I'll use a guy called Dennis O'Brien. He went to going on. So he said, you know what? I think to do business. I've actually been there, but he said Haiti is now the big, I think it's the biggest piece of Digicel's business is in Haiti. No, so I can guarantee if you can do business in Haiti, you can do business in Jamaica a whole lot easier. So I think we have the potential. We have the land. We have entrepreneur. Jamaicans are very entrepreneurial. But where we're missing is some of the methods and processes and so on. And I think this is where, in particular, people such as Martin and so on, if we can bring some of that expertise and scientific application of knowledge to agriculture, and if we can get some financing locally for that, and that's of course one of my interests, I think that would present an enormous opportunity for all the entrepreneurs here. And so if you can find those dozen customers, not just your mom, you can't, or your dad or your cousin, but if you can go and find 20 real life customers out there, and if you can use the networks that exist, first person, second person, maybe not the 20th person,
Hold on, brother.
So anyway, so that's my quick for you. I think I'm already used up my time, but I would just end with saying, Sandal Foundation, which I actually also chair, has a number of initiatives in this space, including an academy, a sort of village academy, which is sort of trying to encourage exactly the development that you're talking about. But that's a longer conversation and probably for another day. But unless I have more time, am I right? Am I run out of time?
No, you can actually finish up. You can continue. We're actually ahead of time, so you can finish what you want to say.
Finish it. Okay. Well, just to say that, as I said, I'm not specifically here to speak to the foundation because they have better speakers than me, even though I'm chairman. But we have various efforts going on. Although, unfortunately, at this time, our efforts are scaled back because most of our money comes from tourists, as you can imagine, and of course we don't have so many now. So we got an endless number of projects. So I think we're probably not taking on any new projects right now, but we do have a couple of projects, what I would say, in the agricultural sector, but that's, as I said, that's more of a social side, and I'm really more on the business, finance, and entrepreneurship side. So I'm just mentioning that. I said a conversation for another day, but the real message I want to leave you with is network to find those customers, the potential customers, I should say. Let them tell you what they need from you. And then probably at that point, although you could probably do this simultaneously, but at that point, you could start having conversations with DBJ, and then you could, an Exim Bank, the various developmental finance operations. And then at that point, you can find other ways of finance, for example, the factoring proposal and so on. These are all things that are nascent, by the way. They're not, DBJ's facilities exist, but they have things that you have to do to get them. So the system is still not where it needs to be in terms of financing small entrepreneurs in Jamaica, that's for sure. I think progress is being made. The PSOJ, for example, under Keith Duncan, has an access to finance initiative, which was going great guns before the COVID thing, and has now they had to pivot to the COVID response. Now I think they're trying to get back on track in terms of fixing all these issues. So there are people who are trying to make it happen in Jamaica, trying to fix the issues, trying to get that access to finance going. But of course, they're going to need as well those viable projects. They're going to need that technology from the US. They're going to need solutions that increase productivity. We can't be worrying about, so that's clearly the way we need to go. And that's where I think partnership with the US Embassy could come in. And basically, if we all work together and do our part, I do believe that we can really start to move the agricultural sector forward. But I think it's kind of like a process manual approach that we need to sort of identify all the issues in the process and see what the pain points are, and then work out what things how to do it differently, what connections we need, who we need to talk to get around whatever problem will emerge. Because there are a lot of problems in agriculture. I don't need to tell you that. And frankly, for a long time, it hasn't really been seen as a very investable proposition in Jamaica. So we need to change that view. And you are the guys and women, ladies who can do it. So and if I'm able to help in any small way, working with, I would be happy to do so. Okay, I think that's enough for today.
Okay, thank you so much, Keith. We're really happy and pleased to hear you speak so much about financing for entrepreneurs, because that is definitely an issue here in Jamaica, and I'm sure maybe even in other parts of the world. So to know that entrepreneurs, especially those in agriculture and agri-tech, can actually access this type of financing and funding, whether through the DBJ, Exim Bank, or any other facility here in Jamaica, it's actually quite encouraging. And I just want to encourage the participants, please take note. This is somebody that you will need to know, obviously. If it is that you're looking forward to scaling and growing your business, and I mean funding it or financing it, even way beyond what we are able to do here at YWOP, we will be offering a small seed funding. Currently, we are set to provide funding for 10 entrepreneurs, but we're hoping that with our partnerships and network, before the end of the program, we can say, just as we were able to increase the numbers from 20 to 30, hopefully we can increase the funding from 10 persons to all 30 persons. So let us see what happens. But thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share. And we know that we will be in touch with you as we go throughout the program.
Okay.
At this time, we're going to hear from one of our participants, Mr. Orville McFarlane, and he's going to share a response on behalf of all the participants of the program.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me once again. Let me turn my video. All right. It is with great honor that I express our gratitude and appreciation to the organizers on behalf of all the participants of this program. To our sponsors, thank you for providing financial backing and expertise that we require to enhance our business, communities, and our country. This program comes at a well-needed time when the world and our country faces this pandemic. We will endeavor to impart the skills and knowledge that we garner to improve agriculture and share what we have learned with others so we all can help to grow our country. A big thanks for investing in us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Orville, for expressing your gratitude on behalf of the participants. We are actually at the end of the program, and before we go off, we're going to end with a few words from Nikisha, who is our assistant project manager, but I just wanted to highlight the team. So participants and also our partners and stakeholders, you will be interacting with the project team throughout the program for 6 months. So I want to highlight acknowledge Kevin Langley, Entrepreneurs Across Borders, project team member. We have Mrs. Terry-Ann Clahar-Antieff, Charlene McLaughlin, Sonny Kanita, Nikisha Lowe. We also have our tech support, Carlos Burke, and myself, Lenny Rudin, as the project manager. So you will be hearing from us or interacting with us, as I said, throughout the program. Nikisha, do you just want to wrap up? I don't know if there's anything else that anyone else wanted to share or say, maybe Kevin? You're muted, Kevin.
Let me see. Is that better? Somebody muted me. I just wanted to thank you, Lanicia. It's been a pleasure working with you, getting to know you over the last couple of years. Your team is spectacular. Talking to all the participants, I'm very excited about all of you. I know you all have an individual story from raising kids and struggling with ag tech and everything else. And I want to share your passion for what you're doing, because it came through very, very well. I also want to acknowledge Martin and the fact that we actually have him on the call here with it. Realize his family as well, his daughter and his wife. The fact that he would take time out of his busy schedule to do this says a lot. And I've seen his commitment to Jamaica, the people of Jamaica, for the last 15 years. And he is real. And we're working on a lot of other things that we'll share with you as we move forward in the program. And then Matthew, very good friend, and he's committed to the program as well. He just texted me just a second ago and is looking forward to going in more depth of what he's been doing and his challenges and how he's overcome it. Martin is about scale, and he's helping me scale things. Matthew is, again, someone that's just like you guys, that has grown as a young entrepreneur in a spectacular way. And I just want to celebrate his challenges, which he's also going through challenges right now with COVID. And he hadn't even really shared that yet, but I want you to look forward to hearing what he's doing, because he really is amazing. And then the fact that Keith is on the call today is also amazing, with Sandals and all the work he's doing. I'm not sure if you really realize the depth and breadth of knowledge that Keith has. He's like a walking encyclopedia for the last 20 or 30 years in Jamaica of what the challenges are, and is really at the forefront of fighting to be able to get access to capital and help Jamaica grow. He's really committed to the cause. And then firstly, but really lastly, I want to thank the embassy for their commitment to doing this, because they have the power to convene a lot of really good people, and they are the face of the U.S. in Jamaica. And I really want to make sure that you really recognize that they are very good people doing some very good work, but they also need your help to give them feedback on how they can make it better. So I would encourage you to communicate what your real needs are to Lanicia, so she can communicate that back to the embassy, because this is a program that's a work in progress. It's not all complete, and we have the ability to go anywhere you want with it. And I want to make sure that we're all engaged and we build a community here. And that's the important thing. And that's the lesson from Martin about what his book is about, is actually engaging in a real community of mutual support. That's the key thing here. And that is the secret sauce. And he'll tell you, he's just said it earlier, and he'll tell you face to face and in his book. That's what he was able to leverage in Silicon Valley. And he's trying to build that, or he has built that, into a small little town, and beautiful small little town in Little Falls. And we want that for Jamaica as well. So Lanicia, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And thank you, everyone. Nikisha, can you just end with the official? I know it's already been done.
All right, so at this time, we pause to extend our gratitude to the United States Embassy here in Jamaica for funding this project, to Entrepreneurs Across Borders for partnering with us on this initiative. Our speakers, Martin Babinek, Matthew Rhoda, Keith Collister, for so ably sharing with us your own entrepreneurial journeys to inspire and promote us to change in this approach to the program. our facilitators or presenters, the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech participants, other stakeholders on the call, thank you so much for your presence. We appreciate your support and the time that you took to make this possible. We look forward to working with you in the future, and once again, thank you so much. Facilitators or presenters, the R.E.A.P Agri-Tech participants.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, guys.
Take care. Thank you. Good luck. Keep
Thank
charging.
you, everyone.
All right, keep
Bye,
going.
everyone.
Okay, well.
Thank you all.
The recording will be on our YouTube channel, by the way, if you need to rewatch or share with somebody. And if you're not yet following us on social media, please take the opportunity to do so, by the way. Thank you.
All right.